Torrey Pond. This was his favorite spot in the whole world. Nobody knows anything about Chesapeake Bay Retrievers. They're water dogs, they're fowl dogs, bird dogs, champions actually. I got them as a gift from my daughter. The idea that I was going to go bird hunting, I was going to get into duck hunting. I tried to gun break him when he was a pup, when he was only 1.5 years. He wanted nothing to do with it. You got to get him out into a field, and you fire off the rifle. You bring him closer and closer, and he heard that gun go off, and he just beelined it back to the car. He wanted nothing to go off. I mean, he wanted nothing to do with it. I tried to coax him back and gave it a second shot, and this time I tried a lighter caliber, figuring, no, he just, I'm all set with this. But he loved to chase that ball, and he couldn't keep him out of the water no matter what you tried to do. The moment you pull the car up here, he'd beeline it right for the shoreline, and he was in the water, and you'd throw the ball with the chuck it, so you get some distance on it, and he'd wait to see that splash, and like a motorboat, he would go right for it. I'd figured I'm making this video, this is a means of therapy, help people have a deeper understanding of what happened, help me have a deeper understanding, and maybe get myself on the path of closure and acceptance with this. It hasn't even been 24 hours. I could have a nice cigar. In his honor. Jax a bean, Jax. Nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. I didn't understand that lyric until now. It's a duality, dichotomy, both goody and bad, the heartbreaking and the irritating. Cold November rain is irritating, irritates the skin. I'm in it right now. Thanksgiving Eve. New Hampshire, raw, cold, on and off rain, but this doesn't last forever either. Love is temporary, it's a loan, it's not permanent. You think you own your pets, you think that they're your property, but really, in the grand scheme of thing, in the macro, the macro, it's temporary. It's not. They're not yours. It's a loan. Their love is a loan, and you're a loan to them. And really feeling that it's lonely. Anybody that knows me knows that that dog was my world. He was my child. If you worked with me before and you're like, oh, let's go here, let's go there. Nope, I gotta go home. My dog expects me home. That was the running joke. I was in full service to him, committed to him. He was such an amazing animal. And I don't know why this one is so much harder than the others. I've had many dogs my whole life. Maybe because he was so highly intelligent, I don't know. And kind of give you the rundown of what happened. This dog had more energy, but he was 100 pounds, 90 pounds, something like that. He was a big dude. Big dogs don't last long. They always end up with heart problems. And I think like Great Danes, they only live 6 years, 7 years. They don't live very long. Something to do with the heart not being able to pump the blood through all that body. But over the summer, I kind of noticed something with him where I would throw the ball, and this dog would chase that ball and bring it back for hours. He just couldn't, you could not wear him out. He was so strong, and I mean, a brawn dog, like a military-style Hummer. That's what a man's dog, that's what a Chessie is, a freaking man's dog. Big, strong, assertive, intelligent, handsome, distinguished as he got that gray in his face over those years. I noticed a change in him over the summer. Probably the beginning of the summer, I was sitting on my patio and throwing the ball with him, as we do. The chuck it, he runs after it. Maybe I'd been doing that for a good 40 minutes or so, I don't know, a while. He was tired. And then for days afterwards, he was lame. More so than I had ever seen before. Like he was like just not moving around the whole day. Didn't really understand what was going on other than, hey, yeah, buddy, we're both getting old. It happens, right? I'm getting old, I'm feeling that. I get it. About 6 weeks ago, he was hanging out on the patio and he just had, I threw the ball, chased it, and then he trotted back, dropped it, just kind of lame. He was just not really, like, it was weird. It was shocking me, and I texted a few people, and I said, I think my dog is dying. I don't know why I intuitively knew that. The next day, he bounced back, and he seemed his regular self. Take you out at the knees if you try. You tell him, ask him if he wants to go out. Grab the ball, go running for the door. If you were in his way, you were in his way. He was taking you out. How he was, strong. So I noticed that 6 weeks ago, and then about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, he developed this cough, followed by a gag. And I kept an eye on it, and I don't know if I look back at it, I guess somewhere in my consciousness I kind of knew this was a heart situation. I know enough about dogs, I've had them my whole life. But I didn't, maybe denial, I don't know. I'll never really know. But he seemed his normal self, aside from this cough. So, I kind of told myself, I don't know if it was lying to myself or what, but maybe this is just kind of some upper respiratory thing that'll go away. And, every other part of him was himself. Yeah, he wasn't chasing after the ball. I'd throw the ball, he'd run after it, and then he'd trot back, kind of walking, and then he'd just kind of drop the ball and take a knee. And okay, yeah, you're getting older, buddy. I get it. He's pushing 9 at this point. Well, he had just turned 9. So he developed this cough a couple weeks ago. Kept an eye on it. And it was just the last 24 to 48 hours where things just took a left turn down a dirt road, really. He became real, his breathing became lethargic, and he was just laying there and not moving. And I took him out to pee, and he's kind of wobbling on his feet, like he wasn't steady. Still by my side, still wanted to go out, still had the wherewithal to grab his ball before we went out. Then he just kind of dropped it, and then I knew something was seriously wrong with him. And there was not much I could do about it. I kept an eye on him. Anxiety was running. His breathing was labored. He was in serious decline. And so I took him to the emergency vet. I called them first, so they were expecting him. We did the pre-paperwork or whatever over the phone, my name and all of that. They said because he's big, they said to grab a gurney, grab somebody with a gurney. So I did. I went in the front door, I grabbed him, brought the gurney out to my car. He was in the back. It was very difficult. Girl had to run into the back of the car to push him into it and get him in there because he's so big and heavy. They got him on the gurney and they rushed him into the ER room, which I think was kind of traumatic, which might have caused the crash. I don't know. Again, you don't know about any of these things. So me and Michelle are sitting in the emergency room, waiting. They come in, and the vet was like, I didn't realize he had died on the way into the emergency room, but he did. And she said, we were able to get a rhythm with him and stabilize him. I didn't know what that quite meant, because he was alive when I last saw him, just in rough shape. And she said, you know, we can zap him and bring him back to life. I'm like, what do you mean? Did he die? She's like, he's dead. She said, he's on life support right now, but he's not conscious. He has passed. And what I'm telling you is that I can zap him and bring him back. She goes, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be very costly, and he's not going to have a high quality of life. And at this point, I'm breaking down, losing all my faculties. I asked her, what would you do? She looked at me, she said, if it was my dog, I'd let him go. That's what happened. That's how it happened. That's the timeline. It makes no sense. There's so many questions unanswered that I can't even begin to distill it. You know, I guess, 9 years is a pretty long life for a big dog of his size. We think of dogs living 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah, the little to medium-sized ones do that, big ones don't. He had a great life. He had this place. We'd go here every summer. He just loved swimming. He was a machine in the water, web feet, the whole thing. He was my dude. He was my best friend. I lived for him. When I left Derry, he was all I took with me. I like to think that if heaven is the place that we think it is, and it is as beautiful as it's described in the Bible, we get these energies back. We get these dogs back, these things that are so important to us. Like all our family, the love, the energy, that can't dissipate. That energy that he was, that arc of energy, so long. He was just such a strong, assertive, you could not wear him down. You could have him out in this pond for hours and he would just, nope. It's not been 24 hours yet since he's passed. It doesn't make any sense. It's just an echo at this point. Every time I see in my apartment, I see clumps of dog fur. I know I'm going to be seeing that for months, if not years. One thing a Chessie does is they shed. Brown tumbleweeds. And it's tough. Still within the first 24 hours, and I know I will get by this because nothing lasts forever, not even cold November rain. It's fitting. It's such a fitting song, fitting lyric, because I used to call him Jackson Rose. Oh, I had all kinds of nicknames for him, but that was the more common one. It's Jackson Rose. I love that pup. I'll always love him. My house feels hollow. I feel hollow. It just doesn't seem right. When I sit down and eat, I shared every meal with that dog. If I had a cheeseburger, he had a third of it. If I had French fries, he had French fries. Whatever I ate. Bacon, he had bacon. I called it passing it up to the tax man. He would pay the taxes. I was making a sandwich, he got a piece of cheese, and he got a piece of whatever ham or whatever I was making. One for the toll. You gotta pay the tax man, right? The vet asked me if he had any kind of heart murmurs or valve issues, and the funny thing about this dog is he was literally the lowest medically maintenance dog I've ever owned. I never had to take him to the vet for anything. I took him to Petco every few years to get his rabies shots. I gave him Advantage for flea and tick, every summer, and really that's it. Some of the paperwork was like, what's his vet? What's his primary vet? I'm like, well, he doesn't have one. He's never needed one. I've never had a reason to take him to the vet. He's just, again, these guys, this breed in particular is built like an army tank. That's what they're meant to do. They're meant to go into these cold, frigid November waters and break through the ice and go duck hunting. This is duck season right now. We're getting ready to get into it, and this is what they do. They're champion duck hunters. So if you think about being out in the marsh, or being out on a bass boat, and you're doing duck hunting, you shoot the thing, the dog jumps in the water, and it's cold and frigid. And they got a wire coat that is designed to withstand it. That's why they can shake off and be pretty dry in a couple of shakes. Anyway, I have to say goodbye to a dear friend today, or yesterday, and today, probably for the foreseeable future. There's going to be all kinds of things. He was very much like a child, and I lived in service to him, and he to me, and that's gone now. It was a temporary loan. His love, his joy was temporary. It was not mine. As much as I'd like to say that I owned him, many times as I went to town hall and registered him, at the end of the day, he was not mine. Rest in peace, buddy. Love you. We'll see you on the other side. Tell Roxy and Fleeter I'm coming someday. Love you, Jax. Rest in peace, puppy.